everybody? Another episode, Atomic Midnight. How are you with horror movies, man?
What do you mean?
Like
Do I like my knowledge of them? Or how do I feel about watching them?
knowledge and are you into horror movies?
Yes, I guess. Like some of them are just so creepy, dude. That like I don't like it. I feel like you're opening a gate. You know what I mean?
So, I mean,
What do you feel about?
I'm a big horror fan.
Yeah.
Big, and I know that's a thing these days. Either you like horror, anime, super common shit. But
Yeah.
one of the creepiest movies that I've ever seen, and this is beyond The Exorcist and things like that, is Hereditary.
I've never even heard of it.
Listen, so you should watch it. You should definitely watch it.
What's the plot of it?
So the plot is, without giving away too much, but
Yeah.
I'm probably gonna fucking give away too much. So it's a family, and the grandmother from day one, since she was young, starts setting up her family to pretty much sacrifice to a demon. Literally from back in the day, like ever since she was younger, got with like a cult
Yeah.
and just set up her entire family to be taken over by this demon for just like her own personal glorification and to be, accepted and that divine, not divine, but the darker part of just
Well,
being,
yeah.
into
the
that.
yin to the yang.
Exactly. So, but what's interesting about the movie is when you watch it, they don't really explain much. So you're left with like, I gotta know more. Like it's just, like, what the hell? Like I like all the symbolism in the movie.
Yeah.
If you're not into like demonology or even creepy shit
It's
like that.
Christian based, you'd say? Or just
Yeah. The thing is with me is when I watch stuff like that, I don't really go,
Is it have any religion ties to it, you think, or what?
It does, but I feel like it's deeper.
Okay.
Like deeper than that.
Yeah.
So a lot of symbolism, a lot of stuff in the background that, like, if you don't know much about demonology and religion type stuff, you're not gonna get it. I had to watch it a bunch of times, and only that, I watched the fucking explanation video of it on YouTube.
Yeah.
So it has to do with like King Paimon, he was one of the kings in hell.
Yeah.
But the movie is just, it's not one of those horror movies that you're like, holy shit, like, oh, The Exorcist, it was scary, it's about possession. It's way deeper. And I was watching an explanation video today about it that went really in depth, and it was just explaining how the director was pretty much doing a ritual just by us watching it.
Right. Right.
It was deep, dude.
And that's right. I believe that.
Yeah.
I believe that.
Yeah. No, I would definitely like to go deep diving into that one day.
Yeah.
Just to explain it to everybody, because, dude, it's a lot.
Yeah. It goes deep. Yeah,
Very
that's an
deep.
interesting one. And then what's the name of it?
Hereditary.
Hereditary.
I'm telling you, dude. It's gonna make you feel weird watching that movie. It's not an easy movie to watch because it has to deal with like so much grief and like family shit, and it's just like you
and
can
the
tell
motherfucker was doing rituals while he was making it.
exactly, yeah. But you can tell, like, watching a movie like that anything dark in the world, like if there is a dark presence, like obviously in the world, or demons and shit like that, or dark presence, you can tell that they do feed off of that type of shit,
Right.
Because watching the movie, you're gonna feel kind of gross afterwards, because you're like, dude, what the fuck did I just watch?
Yeah.
It's a bad one.
That's so interesting.
Yeah, it's a bad one, but it's a really good movie.
Yeah.
Definitely recommend.
Interesting, dude. I gotta watch it.
Definitely. Hell yeah.
I feel like, that shit's crazy. Like I said, I was watching a dude that's like, he's like a spiritual exorcist.
Yeah.
And he was talking about how, like, what he'll, like, he uses, like, there's certain frequencies that'll, like, tune demons out. And, like, he'll use, like, tuning forks and stuff, dude. Dude, just for, like, an example, like, there was this one thing that he was doing. He was doing this seminar in Australia. And he said there was this one guy that was like a 6'5", like 280-pound rugby player that was telling him that he was possessed. And he started doing his ritual, and the guy got on all fours and started running around the room.
What the
He said the people were on the phone calling their parents, calling 911. He was trying to bite people. He said the only way he could get him to stop was to get the tuning fork and hit it at a certain frequency to get him back into his body.
Yeah, and that's the type of shit too that they, if you really want to go conspiracy theory and stuff.
The way that guy was talking, he said he has to put on a whole regalia of like garlic and like all these things
just
like,
to protect himself.
Well, the demons will look at him like, I'm going, and you're fucking next. You know what I mean? Like,
take off your fucking clothes. You know what I mean? But yeah, no. Supposedly that's interesting because they supposedly with frequencies and music is what they do in the industry to get all of us to fucking fall for all this like pop shit,
right? All that Diddy shit.
Yeah, exactly, that Diddy shit. So yeah, no, it's things
it's strange, man. Like like I said, like they say Lucifer is the angel of music. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's very strange, bro.
And that's what's crazy. Going back to Hereditary, is that King Paimon, he is he's a demon that's very very gifted with like arts and music and things like that. So it isn't more like evil, like, fucking go kill everybody and shit like that. Yeah. It's more like him giving you the power to invest in yourself with like music, arts, and just like vast knowledge, and how far you're gonna fucking take it and drive yourself fucking mad. Right. So you got to find a balance. Right. But it's interesting. I'll send you the video and watch it whenever you get a chance, and you're gonna be like, dude, what the fuck?
That's so crazy.
It's a crazy one.
It's interesting.
Yeah, man.
It really
definitely is. So.
Wow. What do you got over there?
I was watching the fucking video because I've been on these tangents of like, and it's weird because I don't really fuck with like AI shit that much, but there's some
weird shit with AI, dude, I can go into.
Yeah, but just some of these videos on YouTube are just really like
AI made, you think?
Yeah, just like, hey, make me a whatever. Yeah. So a cool one popped up. There's a channel I just started following, and they're pretty cool. But they were talking about the Black Pope. Yeah. So.
And like I said, that's news to me. I've never heard of the Black Pope.
Yeah, dude. Me neither.
I feel like a lot of people haven't.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. And the thing is I'm watching the video and I'm just like, the Black Pope? Like, what the hell is a Black Pope? Right. Adding to already the weird shit that you see about the Vatican and all the mysteries and whatever the fuck they got hiding over there. Yeah. Like I said last time, I would give up both my nuts to just go over there and see what the hell they have.
Same, literally, though.
So the Black Pope is, it's the nickname for a superior general of the Society of Jesus. So obviously it's the guy that runs the whole thing over there. Yeah. But he's always like in the shadows. The guy is well known. I mean, he's been with them since 2016, and he's been the Black Pope since then. And he does, services and stuff like that. But I didn't go too in depth into the video. But he's the one that calls the shots with all the crazy shit. And the Pope that everybody sees is just like the president. Bro.
It's like a figure. Puppet, exactly. Almost, just somebody to stand there and wave out the balcony.
It,
you know what I mean?
Babies and shit.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, so yeah, man.
Just to make them think it's cool, to keep them calm.
Yep, keep them calm and just, hey, here's
I'm a nice guy.
Exactly. So, yeah, I definitely want to look into that at some point because it's just stuff that's very interesting. And I feel like just from our first episode and just like getting into the groove of things. Yes. Dude,
we're going to do, like I said, I want to do like immense research on certain topics. Like I said, eventually, just right now, it's like I said, it's just interesting to get all the ideas going.
Exactly.
And then we'll have specific in-depth, detailed videos about certain items.
Yeah, that's how I feel. I feel like there's just so many things to talk about that people like or that people would want to know about or things that aren't as common that people talk about.
Right. The paranormal stuff, like I said, stuff that people don't hear about on a daily basis.
Yeah. So we'll get into stuff like that and then eventually get into some ghost hunting in person. And
I'm telling you, dude, I gotta get those readers and shit.
Hey, well, listen, we can research it and see how much they go for. And
dude, they're not that expensive, you know what I mean? I think they're like $20 or some shit. You know those? Have you ever seen the ones where like the ghost box, right? To where like you're sitting there and it's basically like this little thing that it's like channels frequencies, because you know like all those entities are just certain things that aren't. Well, here's an example, right? So, like, this is just a theory, but it's a big theory that a lot of ghost hunters really believe in, and it's like entities are just people, right? That, like, your soul has died, right? But you're so resentful towards the idea of going back to the source that you're stuck.
Yeah.
So like
in
a lot
between, like in limbo, pretty much like in
limbo is exactly what it is.
That shit called purgatory.
It's and that's what that is. It's like you don't have a body, but you have some sort of physical, or not even physical. You want a physical body, so it can get into your body by. There's like addictions it can get into your body with. Like it can just get into you because the entity itself wants to feel.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Because it can't feel. You need a body to feel.
Of course.
So it uses your body to like feel things, which is so interesting.
Yeah, and things like that are.
But you can protect yourself against it with love.
Of course.
That's really what they
with
hate.
Positive energy.
That's what they do. Because like I said, like that exorcist guy I was talking about, I was like, what he did, like people that'll go out to these entities, it's if you think about it because these entities, they just need love. Like they don't have the idea of love. So they've never felt love. Most of the time that guy was talking about, these entities, so he can like channel with them and stuff. And what he was saying is that every time he talks to them, they're really just mad and upset because their life on this earth was bad.
Of course.
And they hate God.
Yeah.
They hate the source.
Not
a Christian God, just overall, just the ideology of that source power, you know?
Yeah.
And they resent it so much and they don't want to go to it.
Yeah.
So it's just like the way that he's able to talk with them through love. You got to like talk to them like they're your friend. A lot of people that hunt ghosts, bro, they'll see that type of stuff and they're disrespectful, and that's why they're in that bad headspace all the time.
Yeah.
Like those entities don't appreciate that, so they're just gonna fuck with you.
Yeah.
But if you come at them with love, you know, I feel like that's an easy way to get them out of limbo.
Yeah,
you know?
and that's super true. I feel like a lot of people base things like that and like paranormal stuff with like negative stuff. So
think about it, it's like basically going around and like hitting on the glass of fish.
That's it, dude.
You know, it's like, why are you doing that?
Yeah.
Like you're just tormenting that poor soul.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Listen, man, ghosts, they probably want to know, you know, entities like that and just whatever energy is there once we leave this earth.
Yeah.
They probably just want to, you know, like you said, feel again and just have somebody to maybe be there to talk to or something, or
just somebody that
I'm going to move this for you, or
somebody
something,
that understands them. Really.
That's it.
Because if you come at them so mad and like, oh, dude, let's go around and torment, it's like, bro, you're going to mess with something that's so much bigger than you. You know what I mean?
And that's why a lot of these people, when they do ghost hunts and they're on, you know, disrespectful and things like that, the places they go and visit, they bring shit home with them that's just not good.
And it's just because you're not respectful and showing love to them. You know what I mean? It really is interesting.
And that's all it takes, man. It just takes pretty much love and just understanding. You know? Just like us in just like us now in life in general. Yeah. You know?
Yeah.
So
they're just misunderstood, I feel like. Yeah. That's really what it is.
That's it, man. You gotta be their fucking psychologists.
That's all dude, literally. You just have to sit down with them and be like, dude, just relax.
Yeah. Holy crap.
Easier said than done, though, right?
Easier said than done, man.
Because they start making you feel weird.
Yeah,
I told you, like, what? Like, you want to I have like a whole thing I written like of like paranormal experiences that I've had in my life. Like, I'll just say one of them. Please. I wrote them down in a note, right? Please. So like they so one time, it was recently, it was with my ex, and we were in Savannah, Georgia, which is one of the most haunted places in the world. We were staying in a house that was an Airbnb. It turned into an Airbnb, but it used to be like, God only knows what. It was built in like the 1800s,
Holy
dude.
Shit.
So much energy in that place. So just for example, I woke up at like, I don't know what time of morning it was. I didn't look at the time, but I woke up and my ex was sleeping, but her hand was like raised like this. Dude, and I was just like, I woke up and saw that, dude, and like grabbed it and put it down, and then went back to sleep. And then I woke up the next morning, like didn't even think anything of it. And I woke up the next morning, I was like, what the fuck was that?
She's probably like, "What are you talking about, dude?"
Dude, it was so weird. Her hand was literally like this, bro, and she was just laying down. Her hand was up.
That's fucking.
And I'm just like,
weird.
brother, love, bro, love. We need love in this place.
Yeah. Hey, I love you guys. As soon as you walk into fucking,
it was creepy, dude.
Yeah.
I didn't really know how to respond to that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I'm definitely excited to get myself ready for spending nights in weird hotels and
dude, I'm telling
ghost
you
hunts and
because
shit,
like I don't hate anybody, right, that smokes weed and stuff, but I'm telling you, dude, ever since I stopped smoking weed, the dreams I have are so ridiculous. So what I'm gonna do is this an experiment, right? I want to go to sleep in these places in my dreams,
and see what happens.
The dreams is what you'll find these crazy messages in, dude.
Yeah, and I'm on the same thing, dude. I haven't smoked. I've smoked flower twice in the past 6 months.
And do you have like dreams yet, or what do you think?
Yeah, I've been having some. Even after the last episode we recorded that same night, after I was talking about vivid dreams.
Yeah,
I had a fucking crazy one. I don't remember what it was,
but you just know it was crazy.
Yeah, it was one of those dreams where I woke up the next day and I was like, okay, you know.
So, and I think like I said, we gotta get journals, and like we fall asleep, dude, and like when it's hard to do and it's scary to do, but you can't be scared. Damn
I know.
That's the hardest part.
I know.
That's the hardest part. But like when you do it, because they talk to you in your dreams, bro, because you're back in that REM like flow state, and then that's when they can really send you messages and stuff, and it's like. The dreams you have in certain places for a reason are just entities that are in that place, and it's crazy.
Yeah, that's another thing too. Another video that popped up. Let me see if I can find it really quick.
Go for
I
it,
know
dude.
it's in my history somewhere.
Hell yeah, find it.
But yeah, as I'm looking for it, definitely I stopped smoking. I mean, I'll hit the vape here and there.
I was
a THC vape, but.
There's some cannabis does something to where like it's like a gateway, dude.
Definitely a gateway.
It's a gateway, bro. Because like
sure.
but it's all about intention. You know
That's
what I mean?
it. Yeah.
So like if you sit there and use it like you want to channel something, dude, it'll put your brain in a crazy. But you can't. But once you think that way, like that's why weed scares me now. Because like I've learned too fucking much with the mushrooms, or something's fucked me up, dude.
Yeah, man.
To where like now when I use it,
that silver spoon fucking ruined
dude,
it
that was
for
the beginning of the end.
I'm telling you, that is a crazy strain,
connected
dude.
silver spoon.
Man. Yeah, dude. I can only.
It's something weird though, dude. Like, cause it's different now. So like, I start like I don't even know how to explain it. It's more of a feeling than like what I can put into words. You know what I mean? But I want to use it strategically for that. You know what I mean? But it's just creepy how it does to you, man.
Yeah, that's listen. It's true. Even after not smoking as much.
Yeah,
like, you're right. You definitely.
There's something with it, bro, and I don't know what it is.
Yeah, your brain's a little different. Definitely, dreams are back to normal.
Yeah,
or actually dreaming.
Yeah,
I mean, smoking before bed, obviously. I just knock the fuck out.
Yeah, and you don't really dream much, right?
You don't dream.
I didn't dream for 10 years, brother.
Holy shit. Holy crap. So yeah, dude, now you're just like fucking...
Dude, now I see crazy shit. Yeah, I'm exactly. Just like, what the
fuck? No, it's true, man.
It's crazy to me.
So this is the video here, and it's fucking wild because it talks about... where your consciousness goes when you're asleep, you know? I didn't get to finish watching the video. It's going to be something that obviously we can cover in the future.
Yeah.
But it's super interesting about how it's just a whole lie. When you sleep, you're not actually sleeping.
Right.
Your consciousness goes somewhere. And
right.
You astral project and you have lucid dreams.
Right.
And people visiting you in your dreams and stuff like that, they are in your imagination. It's just like it's different realms that you go to when you fall asleep.
Right.
So
it breaks through, like I said, because it's like sleep is like meditation in a weird way, because it's like you go to like your mind is so relaxed, you start channeling things from a different dimension essentially.
Yeah, and that's wild to me too. Is that like they, even right now in modern age, like studying it and things like that, like why can't you tell us more? You guys hooked up to machines and shit, and seeing the way your brain is when you sleep and it reacts and things like that, but we still don't know much. You know,
it's wild, man.
Yeah,
it makes no real sense. And like I said, and that's like the paranormal stuff that like I said, with people not wanting to think about it because it freaks them out for some reason. It makes you just feel different than you've ever felt before. So like you just want to go back to the way you normally felt.
Yeah.
So then you're just like, I just want to get back to normal. But there is no normal, you know.
There isn't, and being self-aware is fucking crazy, dude.
It is.
Just like we spoke about it last time. There's people that just live. And there's people like us that question things and that are always like thinking about there's got to be more.
Right.
You know?
Because it's like there's so much more than just this like physical like reality that we're in right now.
But it's scary.
I mean? Yeah.
It's
it can
scary.
be. It can be.
Yeah. It's scary. It's definitely scary, man, because sometimes I'm just
They're not telling us everything. You know what I mean? Like I said, it's been like this for so long, and they know. They're like I said, they know, but it's like there's like the hidden knowledge, like like the Illuminati. You know what I mean? Like there's people that know that there's more than this, but they want to keep it secure only with a few amount of people. But with the internet nowadays, bro,
it's tough.
They can't do that anymore because, dude, I've seen like the type of knowledge that I've gotten just from crazy videos from a guy just sitting in the woods, just being able to tell his thoughts. You'd never be able to know that unless you, like we were talking about, you go see him. You know?
Yeah, no, things like that. And there's Reddit, man.
Yeah.
There's too many smart people and just people that are on a whole different plane than the average person.
Yeah.
And their knowledge of any type of information in the world is fucking scary.
And it's crazy that and it seems to be that people have certain parallel thoughts now to where it's like you were never, in the history of mankind, you were never able to communicate at such masses to where you can be like, oh, bro, me too, and they're like all syncing together.
Yeah, because somebody will go on there and post a topic, and then underneath it, it's just, dude, I thought I was the only one. And there's so many different versions, so many different stories.
Until like '89, you thought you were the only one. Until like you would come out and with your friends, I guess, like in a room like we're doing now, you know what I mean? And tell them, but you wouldn't have to be able to communicate with 1,000 other people with the same type of ideology.
Yeah,
it's weird.
And people have crazy ass experiences, if not similar ones. Yeah. Where, dude, like I said, it's scary, and there's a lot of crazy shit out there, man. There's a lot of crazy shit
More
out
than
there.
meets the eye, that's for sure.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, man. And one of my favorite shows is The X-Files.
Yeah.
And I feel like that show in itself I feel like that show on its own was telling a lot.
Yeah.
About what the government does and the type of people that work for them. Yeah. You know? All up until the last season. That last season that they brought them back was horrible. It was the worst. It was the worst shit I've ever seen. But we're going to pretend like that didn't even exist.
Exactly.
But man, they talk about so much, and they talk about things that we talk about now, you know, like what the UAPs are made out of, that metal that can bend and camouflage and shit like that.
Right. Like you bend it and it comes back to flat, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I was telling you, like that sphere that they found. Did you look into that?
I saw some of it for a little while. Like I looked into it a little bit.
And it was in Colombia, in Buga, Colombia, I think. Mm-hmm. And it was the Buga sphere is what they call it, bro. Look that up real quick. I'm gonna show it. I'm gonna flip it on the screen for the viewers so they can see a visual of this. See. And this thing, bro, you want to talk about like let's see, does it show any images of it?
Oh yeah, Buga, Colombia have spark speculation on UFO. Extraterrestrial origin. Let me see some pictures. Let me see what this thing looks like. Holy
and they actually found one, bro.
It looks like
they have it in a lab in Mexico right now.
The fuck?
And they're doing all these crazy, dude, they've looked at it under X-ray and stuff.
Yeah.
And do you see all the alien writing on it and everything?
That's insane.
But dude, they found that it like has like certain they've looked at it under a crazy like microscopic X-ray to where they can see that there's what do they call them? Fiber optics in it. Mm-hmm. So there's things that they say that it has radio signals. They say that it could even have cameras in it that are so microscopic that it's like some sort of like thing. I don't know if it's from the government or what. I don't know if it's made by humans or what, but it's very strange. Like I told you, like they hit it with a butane torch, right? Mm-hmm. And then they touch it, and it's not hot. They pour water on it, and all the water evaporates off. They have videos of that.
That's insane. Yeah, I'm looking at it now. March, and it was this year recently.
It was very recently. They have a video of it flying, but with all this deep fake AI shit, you don't know if it's real or not.
Yeah, that ruins so much shit for me, man. Because listen, as soon as I watch a cool video, I'm fucking running to the comments, and I'm just like waiting for the first person to make its AI, and then I.
Because you can't tell nowadays.
Yeah, you can. You really can, man. It's just gonna fucking. It's ruining so much things for us. I was watching a video of a fucking boat in like the middle of the ocean with those fucking huge ass 100-foot waves.
Yeah,
and then I'm like, oh shit, that's crazy. It's such a small boat. And then I go to the comments and it's like, this was generated. And I'm like, fuck, man. It looks so real.
It does.
It looks so real.
You can't tell, dude. It's crazy now.
But no, this is fucking interesting, man. Holy shit.
Look up a video of it flying around.
Let's see. It looks like, just for everybody out there, it looks like the golden snitch from Harry Potter, but bigger.
And it's like, yeah. They say that there's like, you see there's a picture of it. There's a picture of it with, I'm trying to see, because there's one.
Here, there's a bunch of photos here.
Well, see, that's the one that they have, and they see this right here, like that right there.
Yeah.
That I wish does it zoom? No.
It almost doesn't look etched in. It almost looks like it's just like there.
And they say that right there is like a quantum chip.
That's
you know what I
insane.
mean? And that black dot right there is an element that's not from this planet, they say. They've tested it. I don't know what those other circles are, but that black dot right there, they say, is like some sort of element that they've never seen before. But dude, it's got like triangles on it, and it's got like crescent moons. It's very strange. And that fell out of the sky, and nobody really knows like what that is. But I don't know if it's real or fake, dude. It's hard to say. You know what I mean?
I'm gonna have to.
It's like but they have videos of it like flying around. See, like that's like when you that little like scroll down
right here.
That right there, those are the things that are inside of it, and it's like 18 random microspheres linked to like the central chip.
What?
So I don't really know what that means, but
Central in a non-random pattern. So this is supposed to be for us.
So it's
no welds or joints.
Yeah, and they can't get into it, but they know there's something inside of it, and they're all put in there like at a certain angle,
like very intricate, like a puzzle type thing.
It looks ridiculous though, how like smooth the silver is and everything.
Yeah, it looks insane. It looks polished.
It's crazy that it crashed, but there's like a video of it flying around, and like the locals in Colombia are like filming it with their like phones and shit when it hit the ground. Like I would be afraid to touch that shit. I'd be like, it's got like radiation on it or something.
So look at this. So using AI to decipher it as best as possible, scientists have revealed that the message is likely something along the lines of the origin of birth through union and energy in the cycle of transformation, meeting point of unity, expansion, and consciousness, individual consciousness. We're fucked. Oh my god.
It's like I said, dude. The humans are something that they don't even know they are. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's absolutely wild.
And that in itself is fucking crazy, man. Because I feel like as crazy as life has been lately and busy and everybody, we're all stressed the fuck out.
Yeah.
I had a lady come in today and I was calling, dude, I put her on the wait list and I called her like 5 times.
Yeah.
And she was just sitting there spaced out and she goes, I'm so sorry. I go, you don't have to apologize. We're all like that these days.
Right.
Like, life and we're just fucking workhorses and working. Corporate life is just bullshit.
It's crazy.
It's bad, dude.
It does.
And it's everywhere.
Right.
It's everywhere. So
it's
everywhere's short staffed. Hours are fucking cut.
Yeah.
So we're all like almost zombified.
Yeah.
And fucking filled with stress and all kinds of shit.
It is that stress hormone cortisol, bro. They're trying to fill us with that shit.
Might as well start smoking weed again. No, just kidding.
Exactly.
No, I'm good. I'm good with just but yeah, no, this is scary. And not only this, but who the fuck who was it that invented a quantum chip? Was it Microsoft that has one now or Google?
I'm not sure.
Let's see.
I'm not sure.
Let me look this shit up.
But
man,
dude, everything now is they're using quantum chips like in neighborhoods to like link things. Like they're like quantum like Spectrum uses quantum, now.
Yeah. What is this?
Where did it originate from?
Look at this shit, dude. Google has one. Willow, state of the art quantum chip.
And like when quantum chips communicate with things without wires, like it communicates to you without. It can like basically read your mind in a weird way,
Yeah, this right here. This was just this past year. Microsoft Majorana 1 chip carves new path for quantum chips. That's insane, dude.
Quantum chips, bro. The science behind that stuff is ridiculous.
Yeah. That's another thing that we could touch on because, dude,
because it links back to like that remote viewing thing we were talking about, to where like because like all of quantum, like humans have an ability to use like quantum entanglement to like channel other humans and see what they're doing. You know what I mean? Similar to how they were using it for the government, and it's just like, what does that say?
This is for remote viewing, psychic spying or clairvoyance. This is insane.
Psychic spying.
Yeah.
So, and that's what quantum chips basically are able to do. They're able to communicate with something from from thousands of light years or miles away.
Yeah, that's
and
crazy.
And then it's just like, what the hell is that?
I know. It's man. If I even had time to think about that, I'd probably be more freaked out than I am usually, fucking coasting through life thinking about fucking weird shit, and everything's a conspiracy to me, man.
It really is, dude, because there's so many different things that they hide, and like it's crazy that they're using quantum chips in like consumer-based products.
Yeah.
Like to me, that's wild that you're able to do that.
Yeah. Even controlling like fucking power grids and shit.
Yeah,
man,
all quantumly, and they act like it's the better source, but it's like, bro, like that shit links to the human mind because the human mind has quantum abilities.
Yeah,
like, it's wild.
I think one of the biggest another thing to me is, have you watched fucking Terminator 2? Judgment Day?
Yeah, I've seen it.
One?
Yeah.
So that's fucking AI shit. When fucking
and it's like the person that had that idea, bro, is like tuning into like a future world and like getting that idea. You know what I mean?
No, it's
because dude, that was like 1980 something. Like, why? How does he know so well? Like all the robots, that use that type of metal. You know what I mean? That turn to skin.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, the fucking liquid polyello.
Whatever the hell it is.
Yeah,
right.
But yeah, no, Skynet, dude. Fucking all the robots fucking turned on the humans and that whole fucking war started.
Yeah.
So I feel like we said before, man, even from back then, they've been fucking priming us for some wild shit that might happen in the future.
It is strange. And it's like, and the people that have the people that make those decisions are like two people without no vote. There's no democracy in it. It's like this one guy that's like, no, we're going to run this on AI.
Yeah.
It's like, what is wrong with you?
Yeah, it's true. And
it's like 3 or 4 people. Like what? It's like Zuckerberg, fucking Bill Gates, fucking, there's a few of them that are just like the main 3 or 4 guys that just like are just running it. And they're like, no, we're going to do this. And it's like, why? Well, what do you got going on, dude?
I know. Yeah. So there's crazy quantum shit, crazy AI things. And then I know you mentioned the Illuminati. That's another thing I want to speak about too, because there's
they're gonna shut this down.
We're fucked on that. But there's also the the family that runs pretty much the whole fucking world.
Yeah,
that's another interesting.
And they know all about this stuff. You know what I mean?
They probably got first dibs on everything. So that's another fucking scary thing to even think about, how a whole family just runs the entire world.
Yeah.
Owns every fucking money.
Yeah.
All the banks and things like that.
Yeah.
They even had fuck, man, what did I read? I either read it or I watched it that they had somebody killed off because they were gonna start or open a bank or something back in the day, and they wanted to be the first ones. What fucking bank was that, dude? Oh,
man.
I'd have to look it up. But
yeah. I
also interesting and fucking scary that people can have that much power.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
imagine how many people have to fucking, you have to get under control, like to believe what you're saying without turning on you.
Right.
You know?
Right.
So thinking about shit like that is fucking.
It
crazy,
is. It's wild. It's like it's almost like you just like want only a small amount of people to talk about this kind of stuff. Because if everybody was aware of it, the whole thing would turn upside down. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. It is.
By the way, me and Griff are very happy so far with life. We don't want to disappear. If anything happens to us, we're not. You know. I was very hesitant on mentioning that family.
Yeah, I might bleep it out. Should I?
Yeah, they're gonna be like, "Why did they fucking curse?" No, but yeah, that's also scary shit to think about.
Yeah,
because questioning people like that.
Like I said, the Men in Black, dude. Yeah. Like those guys are just nothing but enforcers for the government. When you start really doing like crazy, like magical stuff, they're like, "Whoa, dude, you wanna pump the brakes?" There's only a few select people that can do this kind of stuff.
Exactly.
And we're not gonna let you guys run this shit.
I know, and there's a lot of cool videos about that too. Back in the day that I used to watch, is these guys used to literally show up after any type of UAPs, UFOs, whatever your preferences on calling it.
Threaten your family.
Yeah. And they would just show up, and it's just like a big, tall guy with like pale skin.
Yeah,
that's what everybody would describe him as. And yeah, dude, they would just question you and tell you not to say anything about what you just saw.
It's so crazy, and it is wild. If like the Men in Black rolled up, I'd be like, God damn it, dude!
I know.
What can we say? What can't we say? But then you're just
what am I allowed to?
Then you're just a sellout. You know?
I know. There was a fucking crazy story on Netflix on Unsolved Mysteries, and it was dude, there's so many fucking cool things that I want to look up on, but it was UFO. Let me see if I can fucking find it and see where the hell it happened.
It's like Bob Lazar is a weird one. Like, how did the Men in Black not kill his ass?
Yeah,
he's just still hanging out.
Dude, his documentary's insane.
You saw the one where like he went into like MIT and then like they looked in there and they're like, there's no recollection of him going here, but some guy found a blog from like 1980.
Yes,
and it's like, bro, it's right here.
Yeah,
it's like
that and he's the one that developed the palm to get into
right,
like Area 51
the
or
finger
something.
Scanners and everything. He talks about how you would like get into the ships and like the ships would be like complete. There'd be 2 seats, but the whole entire interface of the ship would just be like nothing. There's nothing in there except 2 seats.
That's it.
It's like you fly it with your mind, like you fly it through quantum. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like fucking controlling with your brain and shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, this thing right here, Berkshire UFO, dude. If you haven't seen that, watch it. Also, it's one of the things that happened back in like the late '60s and. The whole entire, not the whole entire town, but a lot of people in the town that night experienced the same thing. Mm-hmm. You know, I think one of the families was driving, and there was like a whole fucking time jump where something happened, and they were describing that like they felt like a crazy like vibrating in their body, and the next thing you know, they like snapped out of it, and like 3 hours had passed by.
It's weird. Like I said, they like some of those UFOs have the ability to like manipulate time and space.
Yeah.
When they fly through, it's like, what the hell is that?
It's insane, dude. Yeah, I feel
so
like
beyond my knowledge of anything.
Yeah, hell no. I think that would be a cool video to watch one day and analyze.
React to it. It's only 39 minutes. We need to.
Yeah. Some cool. There's some cool stories that are just like that. With losing time and just like being, fucking driving home, and all of a sudden you lose 3 or 4 hours driving through like a certain part of the town.
Have you heard? This is gonna get random. Have you heard of Dolores?
No.
Dolores Campbell was like a psychologist that would sit there and like she would do these healings with people to where she would sit there with them, and then like she would she'd put them in a deep relaxive state and then start talking to them about like their traumas and stuff. Yeah. And she had this one experience, and after that she was able to do it a bunch, but she had one experience where the guy she was talking to started talking to her through aliens. He was talking about the aliens aren't crash sites, they're deposit sites. She started getting like crazy information about the extraterrestrials, but in her and all of her stuff, it's all, like I said, the aliens are all about love. Like they're just trying to spread love here. Yeah. You know what I mean? And it's all about positivity, but it's just, it's interesting that she was just a psychologist trying to heal people, and then all of a sudden she had like some crazy channeling experience through a person, and they started giving her like some real hard knowledge about UFOs and all kinds of shit. And she's like, "What is this?"
Yeah, I feel like that's gonna be a thing where people are gonna be able to handle that information if anything ever happens where there's extraterrestrials or anything like that coming to Earth. People are going to be they're not going to be able to handle that. It's going to be like so much overload and panic that day.
Yeah,
that people are just going to think about, oh, let's just shoot them.
Right. Like what was it? I can't remember what year it was, but like it's like where the United States government actually started firing on alien spacecrafts. Mm-hmm. It was like in the 50s, and I don't remember what. There was like a time to where like they saw these like the flying saucer things, and they started shooting at them. And like, that's a whole other thing. Like the United States government started shooting in the air at these things. They didn't know what they were. That's
insane.
That's like we got to do more research on that one.
There's that. There's a project. What is that? Project Bluebeam, where they fucking huge holographs that they can make buildings appear and all kinds of shit.
Oh man, yeah, because they start doing holographic shit. That's
that's really another crazy one. And fucking controlling the weather.
Yeah, that thing's crazy too because that's been insane. Around. That's been around a long time apparently.
Yeah, there was a machine that can. There's a fucking whole video, and I think it was on the Travel Channel or something, that the guy turns it on, it creates a whole cloud, whole fucking storm happens. And I think in Dubai,
that's where that's how you know it's real, because those motherfuckers can make it rain.
Yeah, what's that shit? What's it called, man? Let me see. Cloud. Let me see. Cloud.
Because they say all storms are just like vibrations, so there's a way to like stop storms through certain sound waves.
Yeah.
You know?
That's insane. Like the whole sound wave thing is crazy, because I was watching a video on like how certain frequencies will heal you. Certain frequencies will help with stress.
Yeah.
With pain. Mm-hmm. So that's definitely something that I definitely want to like.
Like like the 128 hertz like makes the flower of life.
Yeah.
That one is so crazy, and it's in the key of C, which is interesting. There's actually a chord for the flower of life, which is crazy. And you put it underwater, and it makes that shape.
That's crazy.
So like you can tune something at 128 hertz, dip it into water, but you have to. The cameras that we have aren't fast enough, but you can barely see it because it makes a circle, a circle, a circle, a circle, a circle. It makes the circle in the flower of life.
I'm gonna have to check that out. There's probably a video or something about it.
You know, like I'll
cloud seeding. That's what it's called. Yep. So they fucking cloud seed in Dubai, and they create fucking thunderstorms because it's so dry out there. That's fucking crazy, dude. So imagine, I mean, over the last, I would say me personally, without cruising through life, I would say like the last like 3 years, I've noticed where every year, like a little bit more, like, so in April, it was fucking cold outside, and we're in fucking Florida, you know, so cold outside all the way up until a certain point in April, and it hasn't dipped into May, but April's the farthest. And I remember last year around March and beginning of April, it was still, you know, you would wake up one day and it'd be in the fucking 60s, and you're like, what the hell's going on, you know? So I get it. People talk about, you know, like global warming and things like that, which I don't really know that much of. Very basic knowledge about it. Same. But weather's been insane. We haven't really had hurricanes here the past 3 years. Or if they do, it's like one big one. You know, so supposedly just from things that have been going on weather-wise and temperature-wise, this hurricane season is supposed to be crazy.
That's what they say, right?
You know,
all the weather manipulation that they do is so interesting, and I'm so ignorant to it. I don't really know what the hell they're doing. Yeah, but like it's through certain vibrations, I think.
Everything's a fucking sound vibration. But yeah, no, it's definitely another thing that we can look into. Also, man, there's just so many topics.
A million of them.
I feel like our biggest thing to start off with is going to be a lot of conspiracies, because there's just so many things out there that we all question and we all want to know more of. And it's things that I wish you can fucking know the answer to and be like, damn.
But
that's what it was.
And it's like the human brain is just has such only so much capacity to where like you can't, even if you wanted to, you can't even think of it. You couldn't even comprehend it.
Yeah.
That's what's crazy about like you can't even if you wanted to, you're just the hardware that we have can't. So you just have to be like, I don't know.
Without losing your fucking mind.
That's the problem.
I'm telling you, we talked about this before. Like there's been times where I'm literally like on the brink and I got to bring myself back because I'm just like, it's crazy that this is what stress does to people.
Right.
You know?
Right. That's what it is. It really is. You got to like ground yourself.
You have to.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And that's what's scary about the human mind. And like on top of all the other shit that we think and talk about, and like going back to paranormal stuff, like people are like, am I fucking imagining this or is it something else? You know? So I feel like just the build up to that and just us eventually going to places like that, I feel like those weeks or like a month leading into it, we just need to try to be as clear minded as possible, and not have like any bullshit, you know, because imagine bringing something back with you. Yeah, you know, that's the scary part.
And like I said, that is the scariest part. You know what I mean? Because it's like people act like, oh, like the building's haunted. The building's haunted. No, well, if you're not careful, you'll become haunted.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Because your body's a vessel, just like a building is. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. And like I said, it's you come into it with the wrong type of energy and the wrong type of disrespect. Like it'll start haunting your vessel.
Of course.
Which is something that's unfortunate.
Yeah.
I gotta figure that out.
I think we all do. But yeah, no, I've been around shit like that. I had a friend whose mom was really into, I mean, she did Santeria, you know, for years. Yeah. I mean, she even had people that were her clients that would still call her for a reading 20 years later. People that live out of the country that would still call her for it. And some of the shit that I've seen while I was at their house hanging out it's insane. And I know not everybody was sensitive to it, but man, there would be times where I'd just be, you know, I'd be knocked out on the couch, and then I'd wake up and my keys are gone, and they're just like, oh no, it's just this little boy that runs around here, and the keys would be in like a random fucking spot on a chair underneath the dining room table. Yeah. You know? So
it's like them giving it respect and giving that a space, I guess, is good for that entity. Yeah. You know, it's respectful to the entity, you know, but it's crazy at the same time.
It is.
You know?
And that type of religion, which again, I don't know too much. Yeah. Even being around them for, you know, a couple years, like, I still couldn't understand it. It's fucking scary. Mm-hmm. Because you would literally walk into the bathroom and you'd see a glass of water, you know, on the floor. Every holiday, you know, you'd leave a plate of food in the bathroom, you know, for, you know, the spirits and things like that. So
it's like they're showing respect to the spirit realm in a way, I guess. Is that what that is, you think? Yeah. Yeah. It's like giving offerings to it. Yeah. But like admitting it, but like that's what's weird about like Western society and like certain like religion cultures and stuff. It's like certain religions don't give that stuff respect, so it never gets in, I guess. But once you open your door to it, that's when it starts to show itself.
Yeah, because a lot of people aren't open to things like that. Yeah, you know, and they just look at it as like a Hollywood type thing, where it's like, oh, you know, this shit's fucking fake. Nobody has. If there was real proof of aliens and real proof of ghosts, like we would, you know, the government would show us, and we would know. It's like they're not gonna. They're not gonna.
They don't. It'll mess up the status quo. Mm-hmm. You know, like it'll mess up the whole. It'll mess up everything. Yeah. It flips reality. Once you flip reality on its head, then you're just like, well, there's no. Like I said, you got to be careful. There's no ground anymore. There's no up. There's no down. There's no left. There's no right. Yeah. And that's when you start getting weird and start feeling crazy. You know?
No, it's true. So even with things like that and those types of religions, it's interesting.
It's like I said, love, I feel like, is really the grounding source of everything, because like it brings you back to something that is peace. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? But like all these paranormal things, like a lot of them, they don't do it with love. Like that's one experiment I want to do is like when we go into some of these haunted in some of these haunted places, or that have some sort of weird entity floating around, they say, or like some sort of crazy energy that we feel. I want to get a speaker and play like the love frequency.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I haven't really seen many ghost paranormal guys do stuff like that. No. Where they go in there and they with a speaker and play love frequencies.
Yeah.
Because that's what I feel like would be an interesting experiment to see what happens.
Yeah, a lot of these guys, or just paranormal investigators in general, go in there and they're just all about, I feel like, making them angry to try to get like something. But imagine going there and playing a frequency like that and just feeling, and like imagine feeling a feeling that can bring a tears to your eyes. Yes. Because it's just so intense. Instead of just going in there and creating a whole negative space and trying to get like a fucking book thrown across the. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Because it's like, why are you trying to torment the poor thing?
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Do you want people to torment you when you go? Exactly. Whatever is that your soul goes.
And there's nothing like I said, then there's nothing you can really do about it. You know what I mean? It's just like, except tell people to leave, and then you have to do these like rude things because you can tell. I know those entities can tell the energy that you bring, right? It's kind of like when you get on like the back of a horse. Like it can feel like if you're like respecting it or not. You know what I mean?
It's with anything. And I feel like it's true. I feel like that's a thing with me is I'm very good with feeling people's energies. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like in almost a year of knowing you and just like working with you, just being at work, I've tried and I've adapted having a lot of your vibe where it's not really like being nonchalant. It's just like why are you gonna let this person bother you? Yeah. When you can just let it roll off. Right. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I've seen you vulnerable. I've seen people piss you off. But on top of that, it could be something that, things that you were dealing with at home or personally that you slipped up a little bit and just maybe let it, you brought it with you to work and then it
exactly.
Just,
that's what, right. Exactly.
But most of the time you're such a chill guy that I'm just like, dude, I need to be more like that. And I feel like I've adapted that. Yeah. Where to the point where I just certain things don't bother me at work anymore. I just let it slide off. Right. Besides other things that piss me off, but I'm talking about people in general. Yeah, dude. Because it goes back to get crazy. How many minutes we got? Yeah. It goes back to like a source of like this reality is like a weird thing. Like in the Hindu culture, they call it Maya. It's the illusion, right? Yeah. So people that you're talking to are really just a version of you. Mm-hmm. If that makes sense, right? That's crazy to think about.
You know what I mean? So when you're looking at them, you can't get mad at them because it's just a part of you that you have to confront. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and you don't know what people are going through either.
And almost always, bro, when you see someone coming at you with negative energy, it can remind you of yourself to the point to where you can just see exactly where they're coming from. Yeah. And it's just like, I know the pain you're feeling. Yeah. You know what I mean?
I've been trying to be more conscious about that. Yeah. Because we're so used to, being in the industry that we're in. Yeah. And we're used to people going in there and being shitty. Yeah. And at the same time, you want to be shitty right back and be like, oh, fuck you. And you want to do whatever. But right. At the end of the day, you can feel people's energy. And at the same time, you don't know what they're going through either. Right. So when you're going through it, you would want somebody to respect you emotionally and give you positive energy back also. Exactly.
And that's like what, like, not I'm not a Christian, but I'm a strong follower of Jesus. So like I said, for an example, like when Jesus got his shit nailed to the cross, he's not even mad at the person nailing him to the cross because he sees himself or the old version of him that he's conquered, and he's like, I feel sorry for you for doing that.
For doing that to me, yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I know where you're coming from. Yeah,
I'm the same way. Yeah. I was baptized Catholic, but I was never super religious. But me personally, I believe in everything. Right. Literally everything.
And like I said, Jesus always preached like, be extremely weary of religion. Yeah. You know what I mean? And what did they do after they killed him? They made a religion out of him.
Exactly.
Do you see what I'm saying?
So we'll get into that in the future because
It's like they did exactly what he said don't do. You know what I mean?
I've seen so, dude, back in the day there were so many cool videos of like people dissecting the Bible and how it was a lie and how it was, you know, fucking, you know, manufactured just like everything else that we're supposed to believe in.
Right.
But man, I've seen some crazy videos. I gotta find them because it was from when YouTube was cool.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
exactly.
Now you try to look up a conspiracy video and they block a lot of that stuff.
Yeah, no, they do.
Or you gotta like word things different. But yeah, no, it showed so many things of them decoding the Bible, and it was the scariest thing that I've ever seen. Only because you're like, holy shit.
There's one book called, I think it's called The Book of Miracles. And what this is, it's a psychologist in the 60s. And what she would do, she would channel Jesus, bro. And I know it sounds crazy, but she would channel, because all Jesus is Christ consciousness, right? Everybody, that's why like he would go around and preach like, oh, you are the Son of God. You are just like me. Yeah. It's a collective consciousness that we all are a part of. So everyone is you, essentially. Yeah. You know what I mean?
And it's like to click.
It just and you know, once it does, that's what a spiritual awakening is.
Listen, you know what I mean? I know people really, really close to me. I'm not going to say who they are, but I know people really close to me that have gone to retreats like that. Yeah. And they've come back completely different.
It's interesting, you know. But like I said, if you don't focus on it and have distractions, you're back into the realm. You're back into reality. You're back. You see a guy come at you, says "fuck you." You want to say "fuck you" and start fighting.
Exactly.
You know
you want to do it right back,
and then you're back to square one again.
Yeah, it's that animalistic fucking thinking.
It's only
that
natural.
We have.
You're right.
It's just natural, you know. But to conquer that and those feelings, it takes a lot, man.
Oh my God, dude, so much.
It takes a lot, dude.
And like I said, and then you can lose it just as that.
Instantly.
It takes you so long to get it, but it's so quick to lose it.
And then you feel like shit afterwards because like, damn, I could have done so much better.
Yeah.
You know?
And that's like the whole thing. That's the one thing about like certain religions based off of that, like the feeling of guilt. Like I said, the only thing that he would preach would just be like forgiveness, because once you forgive yourself, you can forgive anybody. Yeah. Because it's the same thing, bro. You can't just go around like certain like churches will like make people feel guilty. And that's that dark energy, bro.
Dude,
guilt's not real, dude.
Fucking weird southern churches like in the middle of fucking Georgia, in the middle of nowhere, that are just in crazy shit.
To make you feel so guilty about the sins you've done when there is no such thing as a sin.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
That's man.
It's if you're acting off of love and harmony, there's no real that stuff's. It's fake, bro. It's just to get you down. Yeah. And talk bad to yourself. That's the worst thing you could do is talk bad to yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. So. There's a lot of topics that
in
the future we're gonna. I feel like it's cool to just have the first couple episodes be just us talking about a bunch of random shit, because you can see the variety of things that we like. Yeah, you know, and that we're
it's all over the place.
Yeah, so I mean, we're just talking about demons and UFOs, and then we're talking about life and religion and Jesus. Yeah, exactly, Christ consciousness. So, I mean, it's gonna be a lot of, you know, huge varieties of topics. You know, so
it goes everywhere. And like I said, back to the conspiracies with the government, the men in black,
things like that. And then we'll get into other things also. But yeah, episode 2, man.
Boom. Let's see episode 2. I didn't mean to. We're gonna see what happens with that one. I'm gonna bleep out some shit because I don't want him to come and kill us.
Dude. I don't want to end up on some fucking in a room somewhere
with our hands tied behind our back, like being crucified.
Exactly. No, fuck that. But yeah, Atomic Midnight.
That's it.
We'll see you guys on the next one for sure.
Peace.